यशोदानन्दना जय व्रज जनरञ्जना जय यमुनाधीरवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय राधा माधव राधे जय प्रहलाद नरसिंह जय प्रहलाद नरसिंह जय प्रहलाद नरसिंह जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद श्रील प्रभुपाद की गौर प्रेमानंदे। Readings from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 8, Manifestation of Brahma from Vishnu. And today we are going to see two verses, verse number 25 and verse number 26. So, verse number 26 is on board. So, before going into the verse, let's try to chant the auspicious invocation prayers. I'll chant. You please try to repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Nigamakalpatarorgalitam phalam Sukhamukhat amrita dravasamyutam Pibata Bhagavatam rasamalayam Muhuraho rasika bhuvibhavakaha Narayanam namaskritya Naranchaiva narottamam Devim Saraswatyam Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayed Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Okay, so first I will read text 25 with translation and purport, then we will move to text 26. āyāmato vistarataḥ dehena loka-traya-saṅgraheṇa vicitra-divyābharaṇāṁśukānāṁ kṛta-śriyāpāśrita-veṣa-deham. Translation. His transcendental body, unlimited in length and breadth, occupied the three planetary systems, upper, middle and lower. His body was self-illuminated by unparalleled dress and variegatedness and was properly ornamented. Purport. The length and breadth of the transcendental body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead could only be measured by his own measurement because he was all-pervading throughout the complete cosmic manifestation. The beauty of material nature is due to his personal beauty, yet he is always magnificently dressed and ornamented to prove his transcendental variegatedness, which is so important in the advancement of spiritual knowledge. Okay, now we go to text 26. Pumsam sva-kāmaya vicitra-divyābharaṇāṁśukānām Pumsam sva-kāmaya vicitra-divyābharaṇāṁśukānām Abhyarchitam kama dugdangri padmam Abhyarchatam kama dugdangri padmam Pradarshyantam kripaya-nakendu Pradarshyantam kripaya-nakendu Mayuka binnanguli charupatram Mayuka binnanguli charupatram Pumsam sva-kāmaya vicitra-divyābharaṇāṁ Abhyarchatam kama dugdangri padmam Pradarshyantam kripaya-nakendu Mayuka binnanguli charupatram Pumsam sva-kāmaya vicitra-divyābharaṇāṁ Abhyarchitam kama dugdangri padmam Pradarshyantam kripaya-nakendu मयूक भिन्नांगुली चारुपत्रम प्रदर्शतां स्वकामय विविक्त मार्गैर अभ्यर्चितां कामदुगांग्रि पद्मं प्रदर्शयन्तं कृपया नकेन्दु मयूक भिन्नांगुली चारुपत्रम. माताजी. पुंसां स्वकामया विविक्त मार्गैर अभ्यर्चितां कामदुगांग्रि पद्मं प्रदर्शयन्तं कृपया नकेन्दु मयूक भिन्नांगुली चारुपत्रम. पुंसां स्वकामया विविक्त मार्गैर अभ्यर्चितां कामदुगांग्रि पद्मं प्रदर्शयन्तं कृपया नकेन्दु मयूक भिन्नांगुली चारुपत्रम. Pumsam of the human beings, swakamaya, according to the desire, vivitta margai, by the path of devotional service, abhyarchatam, worshipped, kama duga angri padmam, the lotus feet of the Lord, which can award all desired fruits. Pradarshyantam, while showing them. Kripaya, by costless mercy. Nakha, nails. Indu, moonlight. Mayukha, rays. Bhinna, divided. Anguli, fingers. Charupatram, very beautiful. Translation by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Okay, please repeat. The Lord showed His lotus feet by raising them. His lotus feet are the source of all awards achieved by devotional service, free from material contamination. Such awards are for those who worship Him in pure devotion. The splendor of transcendental rays from His moon-like toenails and fingernails appeared like the petals of a flower. Purport. The Lord fulfills the desire of everyone just as one desires. Pure devotees are interested in achieving the transcendental service of the Lord, which is non-different from Him. Therefore, the Lord is the only desire of the pure devotees, and devotional service is the only spotless process for achieving His favor. Rupa Goswami says in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.1.11 that pure devotional service is jnana karmadi anavritam. Pure devotional service is without any tinge of speculative knowledge and fruitive activities. Such devotional service is able to award the pure devotee the highest result, namely the direct association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. According to Gopalatapani Upanishad, the Lord showed one of the many thousands of lotus petals of His lotus feet. It is said, Brahmano asau anavaratam me dhyayata stutah pradhante so abhudyato gopavesho me purastat avir bhabuva. After penetrating the millions of years Lord Brahma could understand the transcendental form of the Lord as Sri Krishna in the dress of a cowherd boy. And thus he recorded his experience in Brahma Samhita in the famous prayer, Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamahyam Dadadi Sapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Sri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parjana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanasute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunnavadi Paschaityā Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangalangayate Grimit-Kupatamaham Vande Sri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Mishram Kathanchana Smrite Yasmin Dushkaram Sukram Bhavet Smrite Pritam Syat Sri Chaitanyam Namamitam Namo Vishnaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swami Nitinamine Namacharya Padayine Tekipa Padayine Gaurakata Damadaya Nagaragramatarine. So here in the series we are seeing that after the great meditation of Brahma, how Brahma was able to see the Lord's form. Brahma was a bit confused. He was in the lotus flower. He was trying to find his origin. Then he was inspired by the Lord from within to actually do some austerity. And by such austerity, when he pleased the Supreme Lord, then the Lord revealed himself. That which he could not find by his own endeavor, he very easily got it when the Lord wanted. Because that austerity which he did was a very small price to pay for what he got back. So therefore, Prabhupada says the process is very easy. That we are simply expected to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, follow 4 regulative principles and help our spiritual master in spreading the mission of Srila Prabhupada. And the returns are very great. The returns are very great. That we can actually get Prabhupada's mercy, we can get Krishna's mercy, and hopefully when we get completely purified by the process of devotional service, one day we may see Krishna also face to face. So, the Lord is very beautiful. This is explained in the previous verse. When Brahma saw the Lord was not, looking very simple or looking, without any dress, or he was not looking without any ornaments, nothing. He was actually well ornamented. It's very nicely said, kṛta-śriyā-pāśrita-veṣa-deham, vicitra-divyābharaṇāṁśukānām, vicitra-divyābharaṇāṁśukānām. He was wearing very unique ornaments. Very unique ornaments he was wearing. And they were of many varieties. It's not like the same. They were of many varieties. And here, you'll find this chapter is actually very, very nice chapter because there is very beautiful description of the Lord's form in this chapter. Sometimes people think that the 3rd canto is like a little bit of... But if you actually get into 3rd canto, and get into the details of third canto, you'll find that many wonderful things are there in third canto, especially this very vivid description of the Lord's form, sometime compared to coral mountain, sometime compared to a sandalwood tree, different comparisons of the Lord in this chapter, very beautiful. And this is the beauty which we want to hear, and this is the beauty which we want to relish. This is the beauty which we want to see. Because when we hear this beauty, when we relish this beauty, and when we see this beauty, then we can understand and relate this beauty is the source of all the beauties we see. Very clearly here it is maintained, Prabhupada says, the beauty of material nature is due to his personal beauty. Very nicely Prabhupada explains. The material nature's beauty is manifested in various ways. The material nature's beauty is manifested as nice, beautiful trees, beautiful landscape. So last year this time I was in Canada, I was remembering, very beautiful landscape, very nice landscape, very vast country, very beautiful landscape, pure air, pure water. I was with Bhakti Marga Swami Maharaj, and then he told me, let us go to Lake Ontario. And we went to Lake Ontario, and I saw that water is like glass. You can see below what is there, the entire substrate you can see, so pure water. And such beautiful trees, especially in the fall season. The trees come with many different colors, and people go on fall tourism. There is a tourism on which people go just to see the different color of the leaves. In Japan, in different places, they go to how to see that different colors of the leaves are manifested. So beautiful. Material nature is so beautiful. This is one manifestation of material nature. The other manifestation of material nature is also the bodies, the different type of bodies. Some people are very interested to see different type of bodies. Some people, lion, so majestic, tiger, so majestic, leopard, so majestic, deer, so many different type of wild animals, different bodies. There is also a manifestation of material nature, simply manifestation of three modes of material nature. Some people go to Africa and then they see, they stay in some hunting lodge to see how lion is running, how tiger is running. And then there is body of human beings. A man is interested to see the woman is interested to see the man. There is so much attraction between man and woman. Pumsastriya maitinu bhavametam tayor mito hriday kranti mahuhu ata grihakshetra sutapta vitte janasya mohoya maham mameti. Then they build a very nice house and they put marble, they put this, they put that, and then the house looks so beautiful. But here is the source of all beauties. The source of all beauties is simply Krishna. Is the source of all beauties. So if we understand that, and if we try to focus on that beauty, then everything else we see is meaningful. Because we can connect it to the source. Yat yat vibhudimat sattvam Srimad urjitam yevava tattat yevava gachatvam mamatejo amsa sambhavam. Krishna says in 10th chapter that whatever you see which is so strong, which is so great, because Krishna has explained to Arjuna so many strong things, so many great things, so many wonderful things in the entire 10th chapter. Is that aham sarvasya prabho mattas sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam udabhava samanvitaha. He said that I am the source of everything, everything comes from me. And then he explains how whatever anyone can like to see or whatever anyone can like to aspire for in the material world, everything is simply his splendor. So there is nothing to aspire in this material world which is separate from Krishna. There is nothing to see in this material world which is separate from Krishna. There is nothing to aspire in this material world which is separate from Krishna. So he explains all that. And then he says, so you please understand that, because he gave a big list, but it is not an exhaustive list. So somebody may say, what about the swans swimming in Switzerland on some pool, big lake in Switzerland? So that is not mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. That's why he says, Yatyat vibhudimat sattvam srimat urjitam yeva. Whatever you see, beautiful, nice, strong. Anything you see, you remember this is Mama Tejo Amsa Sambhavam, is simply spark of my splendor. So he gave very nice. And then he also said, Ekamshena Stito Jagat, simply by one aspect of my energy, I maintain this whole material world. So then, how beautiful Krishna will be. How beautiful Krishna will be. So this is the form of Vishnu which is getting described here. How beautiful Krishna will be. And then, he has a beautiful form. It's not like, he is formless, like Mayavadis. They like to very proudly say that Brahman is formless, Brahman is beyond description, Brahman is characterless, Brahman is without variegation. They would like to proudly say, because they are so much afraid of what is form. Their renunciation is coming from three aspects, which is raga, bhaya and krodha. So that's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Vitaraga bhaya krodha manmayāmām apāśrita bhagavo jnana tapasa pūtamadbhāvamāgataha. So the knowledge which comes about Krishna, the jnana which actually leads to tapas, the knowledge about Krishna, this is free of raga, bhaya and krodha, it is free of attachment. Raga means attachment, bhaya means fear, and krodha means anger. It is free of that. Because if we try to understand the Supreme simply by the experience of this material world, then the only way to understand the Supreme by the experience of this material world alone is through these three things, raga, bhaya and krodha. So when the consciousness is contaminated, the Supreme is understood through the raga process, attachment to something. That's why there are different levels of consciousness. There is annamaya, pranamaya, jnanamaya, all these different type of consciousness is there, where there is attachment to a certain aspect of material manifestation. In annamaya consciousness, there is attachment to food. And the Supreme is experienced simply through food. In pranamaya consciousness, the attachment is to keep this body alive. And the Supreme is experienced through the ability to keep this body alive. So in Jnanamaya consciousness, there is attachment to mental speculation. And the Supreme is trying to understand through the mental speculation. Okay, how can I mentally speculate? How can I try to understand Supreme? And the attachment to different process. But when those attachments simply lead to frustration, but the very nature of the attachment in material world is that the time destroys everything. So therefore, naturally, there has to be bhaya. And then that should lead to krodha, because when it goes away, then you become very angry. Arey, I had this, I was so attached to this, I had this, now it is gone. You become quite angry. Why it is? Then you become very frustrated. Leave it. And then you try to understand Supreme as that being formless, that being characterless, that being without variegation, because you are afraid already of all these things. But Prabhupada says here that his transcendental variegatedness is so important in advancement of spiritual knowledge. So therefore, to understand the Lord's form, that he has a form and this form is very beautiful, this is the very basic thing in our philosophy. That is why in many places in Bhagavatam, whenever there is an opportunity, you will find vivid description of the Lord's form. You will find vivid description of the Lord's form. And each time there could be some special aspect of the Lord's form. So therefore, when the Lord's form is described, then we should become very alert. We should become very, very alert, and we should try to see what description is being given. What are the specific qualities of that form which has been explained? Because when a man is interested in a woman, then he becomes very alert in seeing the form of the woman. What dress she is wearing today, what ornaments she has worn today, how she is coming today. He becomes very alert. He is seeing what she is doing. Why? Because he wants to actually be attached to that form. So Rupa Goswami says the same process as a young man's attachment is naturally towards a young woman, and as a young woman's attachment is naturally towards a young man, let my mind be naturally attached to you. So the opportunity to get attached to the Lord's form is there by the descriptions of the Lord's form in Srimad Bhagavatam. So therefore, whenever there is this description of the Lord's form, then we should become very alert and we should try to get attached to it. Like in Bhagavad Gita, in the 15th chapter, there is this verse, what is that? Natad bhashayate suryo na shashanko na pavakaha. So in that verse, Prabhupada writes in the Purport that one should be, what does he write? That one should be attracted to this information, Prabhupada says. That one should be attracted to this information. We are meant to get attracted to the information of the spiritual world. Captivated, captivated. We are meant to be captivated by the information of the spiritual world. Currently, our consciousness is captivated by the information of the material world. There is so much happening in the material world. There is politics, there is sociology, there is science, there is geography, there is history, so many things. And then people are captivated by various things, that what they are doing, what they can do, etc., etc. And modern education, this is full of avidya, and that avidya captivates the human mind into various things which is not required. We are expert in complicating our life. We are expert in complicating our life. I remember that when I was a small boy, when we wanted to find some direction, when we are going somewhere, then the easiest way to find direction was to just stop somebody and then ask him how to go there. Then he will say, go take left, take right, take left, take right, and then he will he'll tell us, okay. Then like that you stop 3 places and ask. In 4th place you will reach the destination. And in the meanwhile, you already made contact with 3-4 people. And doesn't cost money. 0 cost. But now, if you want to find direction, you have to go to map. There are different maps are available. Every company has a map. Now there is a map war going on in India, that whose map we should use. So every company makes a map, every company has a map, and then they are all using. And how to make this map? It looks very simple. You have a handheld device, you can put destination from here to there, and then you can just go there. Looks quite simple, but it costs billions of dollars to do that. Billions of dollars to throw satellites on the sky, and billions of dollars to track them, billions of dollars to map the whole place, billions of dollars to actually make a handset, and then billions of dollars to advertise that handset, to make sure that you start feeling that without the handset I will die. And you also get a feeling, if I don't have the latest handset, my whole social prestige is finished. So for that, billions of dollars in advertisement. And then finally you get one Google map with or other map, you can see, you can go from here to there. We are expert in complicating things. And we are expert in getting complicated, captivated by these complicated things. We are so captivated by this. Technology has improved very much. But here is what we should get attracted to. Here the real beauty. And how to see this beauty, there is a very nice verse which comes in the next chapter, where Brahma actually explains in 2 verses in the next chapter that how to understand Krishna's beauty. So in one verse he explains that we should try to see through the ears. In one verse he explains that the seeing process is through the ear holes. So in another verse he explains that we should actually drink through the ears. So the chief source of trying to experience Krishna is the hearing process. is the hearing process. We should try to hear from Srimad Bhagavatam. So therefore, in Bhagavatam itself, hearing process is given lot of importance. Shushusho Shadadhanasya Vasudeva Katharuchihi Syan Mahatsya Vaya Vipra Punyatirtha Nishevana. Shushusho, that one should be very eager to hear. Not simple hearing, not hearing because it is our duty to hear. Different people hear Bhagavatam with a different mood. Someone hears Bhagavatam because it is their duty to hear. It's very good. They are very dutiful, this mode of goodness. Some people hear Bhagavatam because it has become part of their routine. Okay, let's hear Bhagavatam, it's routine. Okay, go here. But that is also good. But the real hearing process is with eagerness. Very eager hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we should try to hear Bhagavatam as if that is what we really want to hear, nothing else. So that is how we are meant to hear Bhagavatam. That's why in the second shloka of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is explained that the very qualification to understand Bhagavatam is that eagerness. It is said that Ishvara sadhyo hridya avarudyate atra kritibi shushushubit tatshanat. That two qualifications are given for a sadhaka to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, to actually understand Srimad Bhagavatam, and to receive Krishna in his heart. So what are the two qualifications? He said kritibi and sushrushu. Kritibi means that one follows the rules and regulations of devotional service very nicely. This is called kritibi. And sushrushu means one who is very, very eager to hear. So, how to develop that eagerness to hear, Prabhupada himself explains in the first canto, how to develop that eagerness to hear, that unless one is purified in mind, one cannot focus on Srimad Bhagavatam. And in order to be purified in mind, then one's eating, sleeping, mating, defending should be purified. So, therefore, here Prabhupada actually mentions in the purport that jnana karmadi anavritam. He quotes from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and he mentions about the definition of pure devotional service. That anyabhilashita sunyam jnana karmadi anavritam anukulyena krishnānusilanam bhakti uttama. This is the very nature of Uttama Bhakti. That the prime quality of Uttama Bhakti is that it is done in a mood which is favorable to Krishna. Anukulyena krishnānusilanam. It is done to please Krishna. There is no other there is no other motivation with which it is done. In the Vyasa-Narada Samvad, in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a nice conversation between Vyasa and Narada when Vyasadeva is dissatisfied. Then Narada comes and Vyasadeva is asking that what is the cause of my dissatisfaction. So in that section there is very nice discussion where Prabhupada actually explains that there could be different motivations for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. And some of these motivations could be legitimate. Like, some people, some devotees say that I speak Bhagavatam for self-purification. And some people hear Bhagavatam for self-purification. Bhagavatam itself says that nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya nashtaprayeshu. And it also says shunvatam sukata krishna punya shravana kirtanaha hridayantastohi abhadrani vidunoti sugrutsatam. That whatever is inauspicious in the heart of the devotee, the Lord himself cleans it. So it looks that self-purification is a legitimate goal for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. But actually it is not. It is a requirement, but it is not the goal. Self-purification is a requirement, but that is not the goal. We don't hear Bhagavatam simply for the sake of self-purification. We hear Bhagavatam for pleasing Krishna. But in order to hear Bhagavatam simply to please Krishna, self-purification is required. Without self-purification, we cannot attain that stage where we actually hear Srimad Bhagavatam simply to please Krishna. So therefore, self-purification is not, I am not saying that it is not important, it is very important, but that is not the goal. There is a difference between self-purification being important and self-purification being the goal. The goal of Srimad Bhagavatam is to simply please Krishna. The eagerness to hear should simply come from the aspect of trying to please Krishna. So how to be like that? So therefore Rupa Goswami says two secondary characteristics of bhakti, which is anyabhlashita sunyam and jnana karmadi anavritam. That one should be free from material desires, anyabhlashita sunyam, and one should be free from unfavorable aspects of karma and jnana. Jnana karmadi anavritam, he says. Avritam means covering, anavritam means not being covered. Because devotional service is activity, and activity is based on knowledge. So therefore, activity and knowledge are inseparable from devotional service. That we want to know about Krishna. That's why we are actually studying Bhagavatam. Now we are seeing that how is the Lord's form. We will see more descriptions of the Lord's form. Here specifically the descriptions of the Lord's nails are given. They are called as naka-indu. Naka-indu. That the Lord's nails are compared to moon. They are so beautiful. The full moon is very beautiful. The Lord's nails are also very beautiful. They are very, very cooling, very soothing. They are very beautiful to see. Naka-indu. And then it is said that anguli charupatram. Anguli charupatram. Patram means this is like a petal. Patram means like a petal. Charupatra means beautiful petal. And each separate finger of the toes of the Lord, they were like beautiful petals of flower, charupatram. And the Lord, he showed his lotus feet to Brahma on his own. He raised his feet and showed to Brahma, okay, see my lotus feet. So merciful. He simply showed his lotus feet. And that lotus feet, Brahma himself says that how difficult it is attained. Pantastu koti satavatsara sampragamyo vayo ratapi manaso munipungavaanam sopyastiyat prapatasimni avichintya tattve govinda madipurusham tamaham bhajami. He says avichintya tattve. Avichintya means they are beyond the reach of the great sages. Pantastu koti satavatsara sampragamyo. Crores and thousands of crores of years, what they are doing? Vayo rethapi manaso. They are controlling the life air by mechanical process of yoga, and according to that process they are trying to control the life air and the flow of life air, and they are trying to control their mind by very strong sadhana of thousands of crores of years. They are trying to do that. They are not like simple people who are practicing some crazy yoga in Kali Yuga. They are not like that. They are serious practitioners of yoga. They are serious practitioners of yoga. And they have spent crores and thousands of years in practicing yoga, trying to control their mind. So we are talking about somebody who is very seriously applied to the process for extremely long time, which is beyond our imagination. But still, sopyastiyat prapatasimni avichintya tattve. They are unable to actually understand the nature of the lotus feet of the Lord. Prapadasimni avichintya tattve. They are unable to understand the nature of the lotus feet of the Lord. So that lotus feet, the Lord, he actually himself, he lifted and then he showed it to Brahma. He said, okay, now see my lotus feet. So this is the advantage of devotional service. This is the advantage of devotional service, because the Lord himself is there. The Lord himself is there. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that Daivihi esha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya. Duratyaya means very difficult to cross over. My maya is very difficult to cross over, because this is my own energy. It says gunamayi, mama maya, it says mama maya. This material energy, which is made of three modes of material nature, gunamayi, This is mama maya, this is my maya. The Lord is very proud. He's saying, hey, this is my maya, don't play with it. This is my maya, mama maya. Duratya, very difficult to cross over. Then Krishna also gives that, what is the solution? Mam eva ye prabhadyante maya metam taranti. They simply surrender to me, you can cross over to this maya. So Krishna also later tells Arjuna, Macchitta sarva durgani mat prasadat tarisyasi. That whatever difficulty you have, if you simply have Krishna consciousness, you can actually, by that consciousness of me, Macchitta sarva durgani. Durgani means difficulties. By actually attaching your consciousness to me, mat prasadat tarisyasi, simply by your mercy you can cross over everything. So therefore, Bhagavatam provides us that opportunity. When such descriptions of the Lord, when they come, that becomes our opportunity. Okay, let's try to focus on these descriptions. Let's try to go through these descriptions very carefully. Let's try to understand each and every aspect of this description. Let's try to get captivated by the Lord's form. Let's just try to get attached to the Lord's form. And here, especially, Prabhupada quotes from Gopalatapani Upanishad, where it is explained that Brahma was able to see Krishna's form. Brahma was able to see Krishna's form. And after seeing Krishna's form, then he actually gave his realizations through the Brahma Samhita. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Because there are many forms of the Lord. Lord is also having many forms. He is not having one form. He is having many forms. And all his forms are transcendental. And he has manifested all these forms according to the desire of devotees. This is also coming in the next chapter in Brahma's prayers. That how the Lord has manifested different forms according to the desire of devotees. The devotees like to see the Lord in different ways, in different forms, doing different type of activities. So therefore the Lord, simply to oblige his pure devotees, he has manifested many different forms. But then we are supposed to get attached to one form. We are supposed to get attached to one form. So what is that form we are supposed to get attached to? That form here, it is mentioned by Prabhupada in this purport, Gopavesho. We are supposed to get attached to that form of Gopavesha, the Lord's form of Gopavesha. Sometimes Prabhupada writes, that we can see both the things in his purport. Sometimes Prabhupada writes that we can pray to Lakshmi Narayana, Sita Rama, Lakshmi Narsinga. So he said all these are bona fide, like Krishna, Rukmini Krishna, Radha Krishna. He said all these are bona fide forms of the Lord. You can pray to any form of the Lord. But sometimes Prabhupada also mentions this, that we should get attracted to the specific form of Krishna, which is Vrindavan Krishna. Because that is the mood of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas. Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas, they are not interested in any other form. They are not interested in getting attracted to any other form of the Lord. They know that they are all forms of the Lord. They know that they are all nice, they are all forms of the Lord, but they have specific attraction to the form of Krishna. And Krishna especially is Krishna in Vrindavan. So therefore, that Lord of Vrindavan, he is our Aradhya Deva. He is the Lord of our attraction. We are meant to get attracted to him. We are meant to get attracted to his form. We are meant to get attracted to his pastimes. We are meant to get attracted to his confidence. But the way to get attracted to him is to get attracted to the descriptions of Srimad Bhagavatam. And try to see through the first 9 cantos the greatness of that person whom we want to fall in love with. So that's very important, because if we don't understand the greatness of the person whom we want to fall in love with, we will never understand his sweetness. We'll never understand his sweetness. We will think that, okay, there are so many people who are sweet, so Krishna is also sweet. Generally, if you see children, they are very sweet. They do many things, and it's a pleasure to watch them do many things. They are always sweet. Children are always sweet. Children's activities are very sweet. Whether they cry also, it is sweet. or they laugh also it is sweet, they walk also it is very sweet, they talk also it is very sweet. Generally any child's activity is very sweet. So Krishna's childhood pastimes are also very sweet. So if we don't understand the greatness of Krishna, we can't really appreciate the sweetness of his childhood pastimes. We will think, okay, Krishna is also like any other child. Maybe a special child because he is blue in color. Normally children are not blue in color. Maybe a special child because he is blue in color. Maybe very powerful child because he keeps killing demons left, right and center. So not every child can kill demon left, right and center. So we may think that Krishna is, or unknowingly, or the subconscious way, we may be simply thinking and adoring Krishna's pastimes simply as a child. So therefore, greatness of Krishna, knowing greatness of Krishna is very important. So 9 cantos of Bhagavatam teaches us how great Krishna is. That how he comes and how he maintains this material world, how he is person who actually never leaves us, how he is a lover who never leaves us, how he has always accompanied us, all these different things the 9 cantos explain. So when we come to 10th canto, and then when we see these wonderful pastimes of the Lord, then we can just get carried away by his sweetness. Because by knowing his greatness, his sweetness is appreciated multifold. Multifold. So then it allows us to get simply carried away by his sweetness. Then we can put the greatness at the back burner and we can just simply get attracted to the sweetness of the Lord. But before that happens, it is important to understand the greatness of the Lord. How the Lord is reciprocating with us in this material world. How the Lord is there as Vishnu. How beautiful is that form, full of variety, full of power, that the Lord's form cannot be measured. Sometimes we think that, okay, we can measure everything. But the thing which cannot be measured is the Brahmanda or universe. Even the scientists are still not having some good idea of how to measure, because it is unlimited. And that Brahmanda or universe is simply compared to the navel of the Lord, Nabhya asitantariksham. So that means how great the Lord should be. He is immeasurable. He is called Adhokshaja. He is beyond the power of measurement of the senses. He is beyond the power of the measurement of the senses. So therefore, we get this wonderful opportunity to relish his beautiful form and to relish his the minute descriptions of his beautiful form, to relish them and to understand his greatness. Then at the same time we can understand the sweetness. So when we go and see Radha Madhava, then we can actually appreciate, oh, this Madhava who is standing in front of us, he has such a huge form. He is Vishnu. He is the 3 Vishnus. He is the Garbhodakashayi, he is the Shirodakashayi, he is the Karunakashayi, and he is doing such wonderful things. And he is also standing here very nicely with his confidants and devotees. So this is the wonderful opportunity Bhagavatam provides to hear and relish the form of Sri Krishna. Okay, we'll stop here and then see if there are some questions, comments, corrections, anything.
Thank you, Harilila Prabhu. So the captivating form of the Lord, as you said, so beautiful, it's very relishable in the association of devotees when we are in front of the Lord in the temple and so on. But when we go out and we have to deal with the material energy, immediately everything comes rushing at you. Phone calls, WhatsApp message, internet, email, etc. And then we get caught up, as you said, captivated in that other thing. How can we maintain this focus on the Lord even though we have to deal with the material energy? If you can kindly help. Thank you.
So that is why there are different descriptions of universal form in Srimad Bhagavatam. So the very purpose of the description of universal form in Srimad Bhagavatam is to actually keep that connection. That when we deal with the Lord, because we are basically dealing with the universal form. We are not dealing with anything else. This whole thing what we are dealing with, that is just the universal form. So that is why the study of universal form repeatedly comes in Srimad Bhagavatam, so that we will not forget that connection. If we are unable to see what we have around us in connection with Krishna, then we are not even starting with Krishna consciousness. So everything we see around us, we have to keep that connection with Krishna intact, and everything which happens around us, we should keep that connection intact, that connection with Krishna intact. So if we are able to do that, for that training is required. It not comes automatically. Automatically what comes is sense gratification. Because mind and senses have been trained for sense gratification from time immemorial. So automatically what comes is sense gratification. So therefore, that's why sadhana bhakti is there. Therefore training is required. The training is required to see everything in connection with Krishna, to actually accept everything in connection with Krishna. That training is required, and that training is part of sadhana bhakti, that we actually train ourselves, and we, by the association of devotees, we learn to see everything in connection with Krishna. We learn to accept everything which happens to us in connection with Krishna. When we do that, then we can start. Then we are starting to become Krishna conscious. Otherwise, we are not even Krishna conscious. We are just, conscious maybe, but not Krishna conscious, because we are unable to see Krishna's connection with what we are dealing with. So therefore, we have to train to do that. That's why the meditation on the universal form is so important in one sense, and that's why there is repeated description of the universal form also in Srimad Bhagavatam. Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you for the class. You were mentioning the part where we find the activities of a child very sweet, and we cannot put that thing in the Lord's activities. So when we hear the childhood pastimes of the Lord, we also we also relish it. So how do we know that it is not in that category where thinking that it is the ordinary child? How do we safeguard that mood which comes that we think it is?
Generally, when a pure devotee speaks, and due to that ecstatic nature of the pure devotee's vani, then that actually catches on with us also. That's why there's a lot of difference between the speaking of a pure devotee and a lot of difference between speaking of people like me who are simply sadhakas who are struggling. When a pure devotee speaks, then his bhava is there in his vani, and that bhava which is there in his vani naturally attracts the soul. So then we also get the reflection of that bhava. For some time we also get just carried away. It's explained in Nectar of Devotion that there are different types of bhava which actually comes in temporarily and stays for some time and goes away. So, but how do we really understand that our ecstasy is genuine, or our ecstasy is there? Two ways to understand is that, one way to understand is that ecstasy never goes away. Because a person who sees Krishna everywhere, he is continuously seeing Krishna everywhere, so he is always ecstatic. So it is said that stavara jangama deke na deke tara murti. So he is actually seeing moving and non-moving, but he is actually not seeing that moving and non-moving. He is simply seeing Ishtadeva. He is simply seeing Krishna everywhere. So for him everything is ecstatic. Like the opposite example is Kamsa. The opposite example is Kamsa. So he was always seeing Krishna everywhere, and he was always afraid. Anything black, he will get afraid. Krishna. Krishna. But there's an opposite example. This is an unfavorable example. But the point remains that he was able to see Krishna everywhere. So like that, when a pure devotee is there, because his consciousness is so pure that he is able to see Krishna everywhere, So therefore, he is always ecstatic. Vishwam Purna Sukayate. That he is always ecstatic. So we are not always ecstatic. We are ecstatic for probably for few seconds or few minutes. Sometimes in a kirtan we become very ecstatic. We jump, and then after when the kirtan is finished, then the reality, the so-called reality hits us. Means that we become more Maya conscious than Krishna conscious. So that's one way of understanding that if I am always ecstatic, that means I am really there. I have understood that Krishna is like supreme. I should get attracted. I am always attracted to him. That's one way of doing it. The other way of understanding is that also how much we are distracted. This is the other aspect of it. How much we are distracted from Krishna. How much of unwanted activities we are interested in. So anarthas and unwanted activities we are interested in. So this way we can see. And we should become very careful. So the whole point is that we should be conscious. We should at least know what is happening with us. At least we should know this. At least we should be aware of this. This is the least thing. We should not take it for granted that whatever is going on is all right. We should not take it for granted. That sometimes we see that we just take it for granted. Okay, this is how it is. That I will go to temple, I will be Krishna conscious, I will come to my workplace, I will be Maya conscious. And then we accept that's how it is. At least we should understand that this is not supposed to be like this. That's the very basic thing. That is the very beginning of becoming conscious. That I am supposed to be 24-hour Krishna conscious. I am not 24-hour Krishna conscious. This is not acceptable for me. That much we should start. We should start from there. If we accept that okay, sometimes I will be Krishna conscious, sometimes I will not be Krishna conscious, that means we are not conscious. So that's the second thing. To start understanding where we are. Okay. Okay, it's already time. We'll stop here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare. Thank you very much.